Okay, so welcome to the deep
Home
dive.
point
And
updated.
today we're going deep on this pretty wild story.
Yeah, this should be fun.
Yeah, of this guy, 420 Manila. And he was kind of a big deal in the Ortigas call center scene for a bit.
Oh, yeah. Everyone knew 420 Manila back in the day.
Right. And we're going to be looking at this really interesting narrative that chronicles his his rise and fall in that kind of very specific online world.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really want to unpack the key moments, what made him so popular in the first place, and then what led to his downfall.
And what happened after?
Right. And then what's really kind of out there is this whole other kind of crazy sequence of events that we'll get into that.
Looking forward to it.
But it's I think it really tells us a lot about how fickle fame can be online. How quickly reputations can be built up and then torn down.
Yeah, that's so true, especially these days.
And then this whole idea of reinvention, which is I don't even know how to even put that into words yet, but it's pretty wild. So first off, who is this 420 Manila guy?
So from what we can tell from this narrative, he was really big on vlogs, just these online video diaries. And it wasn't, just the typical lifestyle stuff. He was sharing his thoughts and experiences. And it really resonated with a lot of young people who were working in these call centers in Ortigas.
Yeah, it sounds like he really tapped into something, specific to that audience, the humor and his observations of the daily grind and just that whole kind of sense of community.
And their dreams, their aspirations.
Yeah, and he built this persona that was really charismatic and also, he was tech savvy, which is probably pretty crucial to his early success.
Oh, absolutely. He really understood that online space and how to connect with people,
Yeah.
But then, as we often see in the digital world, things can go south pretty quickly.
Yeah. So there was this one controversial video
Right.
that the narrative calls it. It had unintended consequences. And we don't know exactly what happened, but
Yeah. He doesn't really go into detail.
but it does mention this huge backlash.
Yeah, swift and unforgiving, they said.
Right. And then he basically disappears.
Yeah.
He gets ostracized and forgotten, and that's a pretty dramatic turnaround.
And for sure, the internet can build you up so fast and then just tear you right back down,
Literally.
But here's where things get really crazy.
Yeah, this is where it takes a really big left turn.
Exactly.
So this 420 Manila guy, he somehow stumbles upon this hidden portal. And we're talking about a gateway to a multiverse.
That's right.
It's not your typical influencer story anymore.
No kidding.
So now we're into full-blown sci-fi territory.
Basically.
But what's so interesting is that in all these other universes, 420, Manila's legend lives on.
Yeah.
In some cases, he's actually a revered figure, a hero.
It's pretty wild to think about.
So can you imagine yesterday's news?
Mm-hmm.
In your own world, but in countless other realities, you're a legend.
Or a villain.
Right.
Yeah. In some of these worlds, he's actually seen as a really bad guy.
And that's what the narrative calls his multiversal journey. And he encounters all these different interpretations of who he is.
Right. Different versions of himself.
It's really mind-blowing. How can one person be perceived so differently depending on where they are or what the context is?
Exactly.
It's all about perspective, I guess.
And the source really emphasizes that through all of this, he gains this deep
Return to
understanding
home.
of the power of the multiverse and also this idea of embracing your true self.
Oh, interesting.
It's seeing all these different versions of himself maybe made him think about his own actions and the impact they had in his own world.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the crazy part is this isn't just some random detour.
Right.
He actually comes back to his own world, but he's changed.
He's not just 420 Manila anymore.
Exactly. He comes back with this newfound wisdom and determination. And it seems like this whole experience, as crazy as it was, actually gave him a fresh perspective on his past mistakes.
So he's learned from all this.
It seems that way. He actually decides to confront his past, own up to his errors, and he really wants to redeem himself.
So this multiversal journey basically transformed him.
Yeah, it's like a catalyst for some serious personal growth.
Wow. So, okay, for you listening out there, what's the takeaway here? We've got this guy, 420 Manila, who goes from local online fame to being totally ostracized and then through this crazy multiverse adventure. And then he comes back with a chance to start over.
Yeah, and it's not your typical, rags to riches story or anything.
Yes, they know.
It's like this really unique blend of, modern internet fame and this very human experience of, messing up and facing the consequences.
Yeah.
But then you throw in this fantastical element of the multiverse, and it just opens up all these questions about, like, the nature of reputation and whether it's even possible to truly change.
Right. And it really makes you think about how differently we might perceive someone if they were in a different situation or a different world,
Yeah.
even if it's just an imaginary one.
Exactly.
And then, like, what does that say about us?
Yeah, like, how quick are we to judge? And are we open to the idea that people can change?
Food for thought.
Yeah, some things to ponder, for sure.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. But
Yeah, that was quite a journey.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely make sure to tune in next week as we delve into another fascinating tale from the digital world. And until then, stay curious, folks. All right, bye.
All right, so today we're diving deep into this idea of unlocking potential. Everyone keeps saying, "Oh, you have so much potential," but like, how do you actually unlock that potential?
It's a great question. And luckily, we've got a fantastic guide for this deep dive, Vince Ultra, and his book, Crash Course, Unlocking Your Diamond Potential with the Ultra Life.
Okay, so right off the bat, the diamond analogy, I like that it's a good image, right? Like a diamond hidden waiting to be uncovered.
Yeah, and Vince Ultra himself is kind of a diamond in the rough kind of a character.
Yeah.
I mean, call him the Pinoy biohacker and the Multiverse ambassador.
Those are some serious titles. What does that even mean?
Well, basically, it means he's all about pushing boundaries, exploring human potential in every way imaginable, from the physical stuff like biohacking to like expanding your consciousness.
So that sounds like it ties into his whole ultralife algorithm thing. I've seen that mentioned online.
Exactly. So that's like his framework for this whole process of personal transformation. And, it involves shedding those limiting beliefs, tapping into the quantum field, and like we said, biohacking and expanding your awareness.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. But before we even jump into all that, Ultra talks about pressure, right? Like diamonds are formed under intense pressure.
He makes this really interesting point that the challenges we face, those tough times, those are actually what shape us. They're like the pressure that helps us form into something stronger, something more brilliant, like a diamond.
So how do we start shaping that diamond?
Yeah.
How do we go from rough stone to something beautiful and brilliant?
Well, Ultra calls this the cutting and polishing phase.
Yeah.
And the first step is kind of obvious, but crucial. It's self-reflection and awareness.
Okay, so like taking a good hard look in the mirror.
Exactly. It's about really understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, what you're passionate about, what your purpose might be. You can't polish a diamond if you don't even know what you're working with.
So true. So once we have a better understanding of ourselves, then what?
Then Ultra introduces these tools, mindfulness and meditation.
Okay, so we're getting all zen now.
Well, think about it. Our minds are constantly going right. Thoughts, worries, to-do lists. It's like this constant noise. And mindfulness and meditation, they help us quiet that noise so we can connect with a deeper wisdom, like that inner voice that gets drowned out by all the mental clutter.
It's like hitting the mute button on all the distractions.
Exactly. And when we can do that, we can focus better, make better choices, and ultimately, move forward with more intention on this path of growth.
Makes sense. Okay, so we're reflecting, we're quieting the mind.
Return
What
to
else is
home.
involved in this polishing process?
This is where the Pinoy biohacker part really comes in. It's about biohacking and optimization.
Okay, so tell me more about that. What does that even look like in everyday life?
Well, it's all about building a strong foundation for yourself physically.
No.
Taking care of your body by making conscious choices about what you eat, how you move, and how much sleep you get.
So it's not just about like, crazy supplements and bioengineering or whatever. I mean, those things might have their place, but it's about the basics.
Exactly. It's about nourishing your body, moving your body, and resting your body. Those are the fundamental building blocks for everything else.
Okay, so we've laid the groundwork. We're understanding ourselves. We're taking care of our physical selves. What's next? What makes this diamond really start to shine?
So Ultra talks about these facets of brilliance, and one of the most important facets is creativity. Expressing yourself authentically, letting your unique talents and perspectives shine through.
Yeah, that's so important, like finding your voice and using it.
Exactly. And another key facet is community. Surrounding yourself with people who support you and who you can support in return. It's about sharing this journey of growth and contributing to something bigger than yourself.
And I imagine having an abundance mindset is important too, like believing in possibilities instead of limitations.
Absolutely. It's about shifting your focus from scarcity to abundance, believing that there's enough for everyone and that you have the power to create the life you want.
Okay, so we're understanding ourselves, we're taking care of ourselves, we're connecting with others, and the final stage is shining bright, right?
Yes, this is where it all comes together.
Yeah.
It's about stepping into your personal power, recognizing your inherent worth, and having the confidence to really shine.
So it's not just about achieving things for yourself, it's about something more.
Right. It's about using your unique brilliance to inspire others to contribute to something bigger than yourself, to make a positive impact on the world.
And that's what he calls the ultra life, living with purpose, passion, and a belief in limitless possibilities.
Exactly. And that's the key takeaway here. This diamond, this potential, it's not something you have to go searching for. It's already within you.
It's about uncovering it, polishing it, and letting it shine.
And remember, those challenges, those difficult times, they're not there to break you. They're there to shape you, to refine you, to help you discover those facets that make you truly brilliant.
Powerful stuff to think about. So as you go about your day, remember that diamond within. Embrace the process of growth. Discover your own brilliance. And as Vince Ultra says,
To the stars in harmony.
Return to
and
home.
that is our deep dive for today. Thanks for listening.